Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 0 of the podcast dedicated to you out there who are starting your webcomic manga pursuits. I'm your host, Cameron Knight, and you can find me at C Knight Art or C Knight Comics on Instagram. And my new comic base is out on Tapastic. And everyone else, please introduce yourself. Warren, somebody.
Yo, I thought I could have sure we had an order, man.
No, we do, Jay.
I don't think Jay was here for that.
It's in the chat, guys.
Jay, you're up, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is.
Oh, man.
I
Can't even get it out now.
Hey, how you doing, guys? It's Jay, one here, all right. I am here, writer and creator of Infinite the Journey. I am still going through 7 days left of my Kickstarter for Infinite the Journey, Road to Volume 1. Please give it a chance, check it out, read it, see if it's something that you like, love, and want more of. Other than that, I am out. Thank you, guys.
My name is Joshua. You can find me on Instagram, instagram.com/Joshua. I'm currently working on my first one-shot titled The City is Our Tomb.
Yo, my name is Antonio Delacruz. You can look up some of my artwork. You just have to Google Full Error, and you'll see my DeviantArt. And my Facebook page has mostly all my art that you can see it and is public. I'm right now working on a comic book that I'm glad to show you guys when it's done or when it's out there. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hello, everybody. My name is Warren, creator of the bottom tier comic Dead Star. You can find it at Tapastic or Line Webtoons. If you would like to follow me on DeviantArt, follow me at Oh, wait, that's my not safe for work one. Anyways, that's me.
All right, everybody. I think that's everyone, right?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Yeah,
It's
Mike.
Thanks for cutting me off, yo.
I apologize. I'm going this corner.
It's all good. It's all good. What's up, everybody? It's Mike Tony, and I'm currently working on my 3rd chapter of Duelist right now. I'm going to be putting all 3 chapters up on Tapastic hopefully next week. I also have a YouTube channel where I post up a lot of my speed arts and just any of the techniques that are used to help me become a better artist. And you can just find that on YouTube, and you can just search Mike Tony, Tony.
What?
Actually, I wanted to throw this out there, Josh. Make sure you have somebody put your. I think Michael has been doing a good job of putting your Instagram in there, because when you actually type the message in on the chat on here, they don't see it.
Okay.
So.
I did not know that. Thank you for pointing that out.
No problem.
All right, everyone. So I guess we can start off with news. Any news anybody has? About the anime manga world that we should, or comics in general.
There's been 3 more indie comics that have actually went to the big screen, whether it was TV or film. I thought that was really cool. Yeah. I've been keeping everybody up on that as much as I could.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the one about the Kill Giants. Yeah, that novel was freaking crazy. I read that actually at the bookstore. I read the whole thing. Like 2 or 3 hours went by.
Yeah, Kill Giants, Chrononauts, and the last one is Lazarus.
I don't know. What is that one about? I've never heard of that one.
I think it's like a female assassin, and they kind of said that she was inspired by, hello Facebook, she was inspired by Michelle Rodriguez, I guess, if you will. It was more of a story they kind of catered toward her, but basically it's like an assassin, and she's living up the Lazarus family, trying to keep up the reputation. So it's just something else to look into. It was a really cool story from what I heard.
Dope. Anybody else, man?
Kill Giants. All right, I gotta check out that Kill Giants then.
Yeah, I Kill Giants. Yep.
Yeah,
Giants.
That one was nuts, man.
And just to clarify, these are stories that companies have bought them to go into film or in television?
Yes, and I believe 2 of them, which are I Kill Giants and Chrononauts, are all from Image Comics. Okay. And I think Lazarus might be as well. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, sweet. So, anybody else, man? Any other news you guys heard about? Anything that you guys want to bring to our audience?
New Supergirl.
Oh, Supergirl. Yeah, I still don't like her name at all.
Power Girl?
I'm sorry, Power Girl, Supergirl, whatever. It's still generic.
Yeah.
So you guys
It's actually Power Girl. She's passing down her legacy name, and leave into a different dimension. So I don't. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I mean, I don't mind the new costume that they gave her. Whatever. I think it looks pretty good. Um, yeah, like everything's been trending toward not making superhero females like just like overtly sexy, or just overdoing the whole sex aspect, but just like giving them real, uniforms, giving them real costumes and stuff like that, like all the rest of the heroes. So I respect it. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm not necessarily into a lot of Western comics, so I couldn't tell you the story of Power Girl, but I respect the fact that she's cultural and she got a respectable uniform.
Yeah, but I have to admit that I'm gonna miss the One Piece from all these superheroes that they're liquidating little by little.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying.
You gonna miss a little bit of cleavage?
Yeah.
You better start saving those JPEGs now, man.
Yeah, like, I'm not a fan of Wonder Woman's new suit from after the Convergence. I'm simply not a fan of it.
Well, at least it's popular enough to not get a cover switched on an actual popular comic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna miss the old Power Girl costume. It was just way too bland and just uncreative, I think.
Just the white.
Just the white and like the red cape, it was just so bland. No effort went into creating it, I think.
Yo, Jay, are you talking about the Batgirl and Joker comic?
Yep, the variant cover. That was actually a variant that they took down.
Oh, they never released it?
Well, nope.
Oh, that's a shame.
People had to get it wherever they could get it, but it's not like official printed. No.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, man. They basically drew it down to they didn't want it to represent Barbara knowing what she had went through. And I'm just like, that's crazy. Like, to know that they're basically referring, like I think me and Josh were talking about that, about referring back to the events that defined who she was as a character as Oracle in The Killing Joke. And they basically didn't. They said that cover was very reminiscent of that, and they didn't want them bringing that back up and throwing it in Batgirl's face because of how she would feel. And I'm like, really? Are we speaking in third person for the character now?
Wait, how she would feel? Isn't she? She's not real.
Well, to them, they're saying that she's a new sign of hope. She's a new symbol of hope and being different and breaking out the mold like Miss Marvel. So why would they bring up something that dark in her past when she's been so bright, fluffy, and lovable? And I'm like, okay.
What's her
lovable? Her comic book is one of the most darkest comic book in DC.
What is her like in this, I guess, story? Like, what is her like? Yeah, what's her story? I guess her background, like, like. What is she doing that's like so different? Like, how is she so unique?
Because she's hip. They say that she's acting more like a hipster, and she's acting all punky, and she's acting real flashy as a hero. Like, she's taking pictures of villains before she knocks them out, or she knocks them out and takes pictures of them, and she's being real hip, and she's wearing fashion clothes, and she's got her ensemble of squads that go with her, and they're all dressed up and they act fancy. She's basically acting like a teenage girl, if you will, or a girl that everybody's okay with, apparently.
Wow. Where was I? Because the last time I read Batgirl, she was finding her crazy brother that killed her mother or something like that. Like, that's really off of left field for me.
Yeah, when I picked it up, they were all in the car talking about a selfie.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Batgirl that I know is really dark. And
yeah.
Well, yeah, some other new writers got a hold of it after that, probably. That's probably when that writers changed.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to give it a new taste and they wanted to give it a big boost, is what they said. So.
Oh, yeah, because I seen it before she got the new costume. I haven't seen anything with her with the new costume.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, that slimy sound is me rolling my eyes so hard. Anyways. We got anyone else want to touch up on that?
I mean, honestly, I didn't really know much about the cover. Like, I seen it, and I was like, oh, I didn't really see the big deal, but, I guess people didn't like it.
My thing about that is just, like, these are superheroes. You're taking it upon yourself to save the world, and, yeah, their struggles are going to be pretty hard and define them who they are as characters. And bringing it up, it just shows the foundation that built her up to what she is today. And if you're gonna make her some freaking girl that relates to today's girls taking selfies and crap, it's like, geez, it really takes away from
Well,
that whole aspect.
yeah.
That's just me. I'm a classic guy, man. I don't put milk in my cereal. I'm just a plain Jane. So people don't agree with me.
I personally think cereal is pretty good with milk.
Yeah, me too. Oh,
I mean, yeah, you eat an unhealthy diet of cereal. I think I've seen, since I've met you and you've been on these podcasts, I think I've seen you eat at least 5 to 6 bowls.
We're more like sandwiches, honestly.
Seriously. Really? Has it? I mean, I've seen a lot of cereal.
He's always like, well, boys, be back. Gotta get him a sandwich.
It's probably just code word for cereal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of Lucky Charms have been devoured in that house. But
who eats Lucky Charms try?
I mean, I don't. I just named it a random cereal, man. Wait, you telling me if there was a bowl of Lucky Charms, you wouldn't eat it?
I would eat it with milk.
Not if he called me Trey like he just called you Trey, but we'll leave it alone.
Speaking of Trey,
I heard it. I didn't want to address it, but thank you, Jay, for putting them out there though, because I didn't want to believe him. I definitely heard it though.
Well, no, he addressed you and
I didn't call.
glasses,
Wait.
so I figured we can address him.
Did not call you Trey.
That's cool, man. We all just look alike. I understand.
Speaking of black people looking alike, what about Trill League?
Oh yeah, let's get into that again.
Once again.
Oh man, but yeah, the Kickstarter for Trill League is out, and I always forget that guy. It's Anthony Piper, right? Piper.
Yes.
Piper, yeah, AKA I think it's Black Ant or something. Black Ant or Ant Black or Black Ant. Possibly something like that, but his Kickstarter is out, and it's pretty dope. Just a parody on stereotypes of pretty much black people.
Amazing.
But yeah, I think we should start getting into our discussion for tonight, which was paneling, pacing of a comic. So I'm just gonna open just a question out to everybody when tackling paneling, and let's just say let's just start with a fight scene. When tackling paneling for a fight scene, what is something that you guys all try to keep in mind? And I'll quit pausing.
Paneling for a fight scene, that is interesting. I honestly, when I do a fight scene, I just want to grab the main frame and make sure that is permanent. But I go more in the Western style of comic book writing. So we don't draw out every single action. We just draw out the most impactful moments of it. And yeah, that's pretty much what I mostly do.
Yeah, I'm kind of tackling it since obviously starting base. I've been trying to tackle it. My next couple of pages are going to be action scenes. So I personally see it in my head. Like I try to kind of visualize it as a type of anime, or I kind of just check out fight scenes in general, fight scenes that I've enjoyed, and kind of just and look at the type of angles that they use in the fight scene. And I try to sometimes either replicate it or kind of take it and kind of make something of my own, or just kind of taking points or techniques that they might have used in the action scene, and try to see if I can replicate that or do something close to it or whatever.
One thing. I'm sorry, I forgot.
No, go ahead. No, I'm done.
One thing I did notice while recently getting into Spider-Man and whatnot is just comparing Western to Eastern style or manga style paneling and whatnot. Especially in fight scenes, it's like chapters in manga. It's like for a fight scene, they're more specific with showing you the actions compared to Western style. They just show one big panel of a fight scene and maybe a few little actions like a flip, and then that's it. But and I was wondering, which one do you guys prefer, Western or Eastern style when it comes to paneling fight scenes?
I would like to say Eastern, because what I've noticed from Western is that they give you brief action, and then after that they focus more on the dialogue. So they'll have a guy standing over somebody after they knock him down in the middle of a fight. They'll stand there and let him let him
Monologue.
discuss or monologue or give exposition when he should be getting back up to try to fight. And versus in Japanese or in Western comics, they're fighting while they're talking, or they fight in between. They talk in between the fights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I agree. What about you,
Personally, I
Mike?
prefer.
Oh, my fault.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I was just asking, like, what Mike thought, like, what's his preference when it comes to stuff like that?
Mike's not here.
Oh, he's not here?
Uh,
Oh, here.
He's
no,
right
I'm,
there.
I'm back. I'm back. I just I don't know what topic we're on right now. Sorry, guys.
Oh no, we're talking about paneling, and when specifically when it comes to fight scenes and like how do you go about, since it looks like you're about to dive into a fight scene with duelists, but like how do you go about paneling when it comes to a fight scene? What do you prefer, Western or Eastern style?
Definitely more of an Eastern style. I like a lot of motion and snail lines whenever I'm doing something, because I really want to see my artwork as an animation, and so that's kind of how I want to take it, for the most part.
Yeah.
And as far as like the pacing of it goes, I've been reading this book, and it's just like the art of storytelling and stuff like that, and I can't remember the artist, the comic book artist that made it, but he's super famous. Oh my god, his name's on the tip of my tongue. But the way he talks about it is he's just basically like, what sequences are the most important. And he breaks it down based on like the beginning of like the motion, how much power it takes to do the motion, and then the finishing amount. So if a character, let's say, it was like swinging an axe, you would get a panel where he's starting to kind of grab the axe or gripping it or, getting into some type of position. Then the second thing you would kind of show is the swing. So you would get an opportunity to see how much power it takes to really get it going, and then you would see the finish. So whether the attack hit the enemy or whether the attack was just kind of swung, and in the next panel you see the effect of it.
Yeah.
But he actually shows the step-by-step development. And then what he does is he just takes a frame, like if he was doing it in animation, and then he cuts it out. So I like to, for a lot of the things I do in action, I like to do about 2 to 3 steps of showing emotion. And I think it gives more of the idea of an animation kind of. You can really see it developing in front of you. And I'll normally do like 2 small panels and then like 1 big panel. That will like give the reader something to kind of look at and to really be immersed in.
Yeah, and I've always kind of wondered why Western didn't, I guess, do that like with their comics. I always thought it was because everything's in color and that probably costs more and takes a lot more time. But like actually, this is a question for you, Tony. Like, do you feel like if Western stuff was more like black and white, that they would show more action?
I think it's just not necessary. All those steps are pointless because you could just make them do the punch and see the reaction punch, and that's all you need. You don't really need the hand buckling, the swing, and stuff like that. You just need to know that he threw a punch and it hit him. That's pretty much. So it's actually like a waste of time drawing all that. But that's to answer your question, man. That's why Western comics don't go that much detail in the fight scenes because you play it all out in your own head. But
I like seeing it personally, like I know I can play it out in my head, but I like seeing that, like Mike was saying, those extra few panels, man. Like they have to be super huge, but just seeing him grip it, seeing him swing it, putting that power into it, then seeing the impact, you can kind of put it in your then your brain in a way kind of makes it, since they're all like almost like little frames, those panels. Your brain kind of makes it fluid, and you see it, almost like an animation in your head, personally. But
okay. But for example, if you're a fan of Superman, and you're seeing every single Superman comic book for 50 years, and you're still doing the same framework to throw one punch, it gets repetitive. It gets dumb. How many times you're gonna draw the same punch? Is that's where I'm coming from. Like
that's a point. There's a point there too.
Tony. I totally agree.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, but look at something like One Piece, right? And it's cool to see like Luffy's elephant punch, right? But I think when people see him, go into gear second or something like that, and then for him, his fist or something like that to extend behind him and then to charge up to do the elephant punch and then to see the release, I think that's something that is a lot more engaging than just seeing Luffy standing there and then him doing the elephant punch, and then you're just kind of like, you don't get an opportunity to see the weight and to see the real influence behind the actual attack. And that to me is a real draw. I mean, you look at Superman, Superman's just throwing punches, he's shooting lasers, and now he has the solar flare, but it's not to take away from Superman, because obviously he's a great superhero and everybody likes him, but it's very simplified for him. Whereas I couldn't imagine reading Dragon Ball Z and just seeing Trunks just do one slice of his sword. Like, I want to see the build-up and him doing a bunch of slices all at the same time with after images and stuff like that. Like, all of that paints this picture of his speed and his durability and so on and so forth. Yeah, I guess that's just something for me, man.
No, it's good points on both sides, though. Because go ahead, Martin.
Oh, sorry. It's just the thing, like what Tony's saying, like if it went the same speed of like every time, like if you see Luffy do that every time he did that attack, it would get stale, like Tony said. Like, you would want to save those moments, like for One Punch Man, where they do that one big moment where they slow everything down and show you everything. Yeah, that really gets you. But there are times where you need to do one frame to just really throw your audience off guard, so different speeds. That's why I like when there was one part in Spider-Man where Miles was dodging a missile, and before that it was all this one frame kind of stuff just to progress the story faster. But that one time when he dodged the missile and they slowed it down, and he was thinking to himself, wow, this is the coolest thing I ever done, and then it was just like a 2-pager of him dodging it, I was like, okay, alright, that really stops like the pace of it. It really shows the impact. It did its job right, instead of him just showing slow motion every time. So it depends. Like, when it comes to paneling, I prefer to combine them both, especially after getting the Western comics recently. And I'm done. That's my little thing.
But to answer the original question, because I haven't had a chance to answer that, I like Eastern, like manga and stuff like that, for fight scenes, because their fight scenes has a lot more energy. All those speed lines and whatnot, they're masters at doing energy and bringing you in. So I like their fight scenes more than Western fight scenes.
Oh, okay.
And you know what's crazy about that? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
I was watching Jim Lee, do a couple of drawings and stuff like that, and his hand speed and his art is so dynamic, and that's what's just so crazy to me is like when they're drawing their characters and they're drawing their scenes and everything, it's so dynamic. They have a bunch of motion, and then it's like as they start to clean it up and clear it out, a lot of that motion they just take out. A lot of stuff they just take out because it's hard to translate that in color. And having the over color over the background, over the character, and stuff like that, and so it's just a lot more clear when you don't have so many other things going on that you're building. But that's weird, and a lot of that stuff that I watch for Western artists, they have all of that going in, and then once it gets to the finished work, it just like disappears.
Yeah, like every like the pencils are the most beautiful things ever. Then the inks, then when the color comes, a lot of that energy disappears.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of takes away from the flexibility and it solidifies it, in my opinion. Next off is does anyone have anything else to say about fight scenes?
No. Jay, what about you?
I led with that conversation.
Oh, I didn't.
I did. Yeah, I did. Basically, I was just saying I appreciate more of I guess, like I said, I appreciate more of what the Eastern do for action because that's where you really feel the emotion. because in Western, I believe we kind of got spoiled with the fact that a lot of Western stuff can get turned into TV shows really quickly. So we just rather we honestly end up seeing it there versus than we do on the page, because a lot of Western comic, like even one of our favorite ones that we read, Saga, it didn't really focus much on action, but when it did it to the point where you felt the emotion and left it at that. It didn't drag it on. It didn't make anything obscene or anything like that. But we haven't come across a big fight yet, like a big Eastern style fight yet. We haven't come across that. We almost did when we seen the like this big war going on in the middle, but they didn't focus on that. They were kind of like, this is here just to let you know what's going on, moving along. But when Marco got upset because he thought his wife was shot and he broke his vow, we felt that because of the emotion that led up to that. So they did the build up to the emotion, and then it justified it being simple but subtle 2 pages of action.
Yeah.
Versus Eastern, they build it up and then they draw it out and give you every single detail, from the sweat that flicks off to that grazes down the sword as the sword is swinging, to him ducking under the sword, coming back around, and then all of a sudden, all of these moves, all of these 15 moves you've seen for the last 3 pages lead up to a barrage of anything, and then the final hit, boom, monkey, come on, go stop pistol, boom, 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 done.
Yeah. But no, I was gonna ask you, Jay, that like, obviously, writing Infinite, when it comes to writing the action scenes, is that something that you kind of leave up to the artist, or like, but when you're writing it, is that like, what things do you keep in mind, I guess, when you're actually writing an action scene, or like, how do you go about doing that?
I actually, I envision the fighting scenes in my head, so I try to write that down. I write it down word per word, detail per detail. Like I probably would have a full page of a fight scene done, and then and then what I do personally is I go back through and see what's necessary and what's not, or what I want to highlight on and what I don't. Like I'll put a period by this. This has to go here, and then I'll leave a period by the other stuff that I don't. So that way I know I do want to highlight when KO gets up and says, I'm going to go run in and try to punch arrows. I also want to make sure I put in bold here. This means impact when he runs up and hits somebody. So I use different font types and going between italic and bold. Italic means soft and not so much. Regular means it's a medium kind of deal, and the bold means it's impactful, so make it look damn good.
That's dope. That's pretty cool. But all right, then to move on, I guess still kind of.
I do want to say that they're talking about doing a new, all different kind of Avengers. I kind of missed that. Like they have Miss Marvel, and they have the Lady Thor, and I believe Miles Morales is going to be in that, and then some other people. I don't know who, but they have a silhouette out, and it only shows Miss Marvel and Lady Thor as of right now.
Oh wow, that's cool. I don't know about that. You guys are my go-to people for Western stuff. But just to kind of move on, like still within like the whole paneling and pacing realm, but how about, I guess, when it comes to just regular conversation, like just impactful dialogue, like how do you guys go about handling dialogue, even like whether it's important dialogue, something that's like really impactful for the story? Like how do you guys do that so that this, I mean, because dialogue honestly is boring. Like we talk about all the time, certain people who put too much dialogue and it's just like reading an encyclopedia. Like how do you guys go about making paneling still interesting to look at?
No, the thing is when I tackle it, and I think we talked about it a few times, it's just you gotta look at when you're reading something and you're really getting into it, like what stops you and kind of slows down. Like for most of us, it's like when you go into something and then there's a panel with just a balloon chock full of dialogue. Instead of that, you can make any conversation interesting if you learn to space out the dialogue accordingly, show different angles, and just try not to do face to face to face for like 10 panels over and over. Like keep it interesting and like keep the camera moving, keep the eyes playing when the reader is looking at your content.
Well, like Warren, we were reading Ninjak issue 1 earlier, and when they're doing that big amount of exposition, and he was explaining the situation to, I guess, Ninjak, you saw like these dynamic backgrounds, these wide shots of a castle, and things of that nature to kind of not be just a face-to-face discussion. It's to show like just because they're having this discussion does not mean the surrounding area is boring, because a face-to-face discussion would just be boring.
Exactly, and spacing it out, like showing suspense. Like another thing I was interested in seeing how you guys covered is suspense. Like just leaving a sentence off, making someone wonder what they're gonna say next. Maybe an awkward, maybe a pause, maybe something interrupts them, and then they go on again with a different camera angle. And it's something you really got to play with, and something you got to study. Maybe a lot of movies, how novels do it, and it's just to gauge how it is. And
comedy as well. Like I always wonder like how do you guys approach when it comes to just say you guys wanted something funny in your comic, like because I do notice that like I guess in a lot of I don't know the proper names for them, proper terms, but a lot of stuff and like I guess mangas and Eastern stuff is like they use a lot of the same like facials and like I don't know like certain panels. Like I don't know the exact names of them, but like when somebody's like I guess when they're I don't know being crazy, like I notice that a lot of the facial expressions are the same with different
like the cheapified emotions and stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like I personally don't really care for that type of stuff, but like when it comes to like comedy, like how do you guys like come like I guess tackle that type of stuff? Because obviously our comics aren't always going to be super duper serious.
Of course. Someone go.
Well, like in one of my comics I'm working on that I would like to eventually do, I have a very specific scene in mind, and it's not chibified, I guess is the word Jay used. But I have in my mind these exaggerated facial expressions to kind of show, this isn't so serious, kind of distort the art, not in like an inhuman way, but kind of like exaggerated expressions or like just kind of different elements to show that it's not a serious scene.
Like a chibi.
Kind of, yeah, but not like a chibi, but yeah, kind of.
like jerk.
I knew that was coming.
Well, like in Full Metal Alchemist, when there's like a scene I'm thinking of where he's staring at his glass of milk that he doesn't want to drink, and like his hair doesn't have detail on it, and his face is really there's not like detail on it. There's just like a line to show his mouth, and he's upset that he has to drink the milk.
Oh yeah, little stuff like that, just little faces.
Joshua, do you know the definition of chibi?
No, I don't know the exact definition.
Yeah.
That's probably why we're having an argument, man.
Yeah.
Yo, I like to say your original question, how to deal with long dialogues and whatnot.
Go ahead, Tom. I'm open.
Yeah, it's something that people don't realize, that the way you place the bubbles and what contact you put in individual bubbles, like dialogue is an art. How you lay them out on the page or whatnot. If you make a lot of text, but they look pretty on the page, they're like spaced out and just in a position that is pleasant to the eye, the reader will have no problem reading it. But if you just block it out really ugly in the page and whatnot, and they contradict and crash against each other, people will just skip the whole page. And it's like it's artwork, like it's how the eyes read it as they flow and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that's something that people don't pay attention to and don't look at it. They care a lot about the pictures and the panels, but the word placement and whatnot is artwork within themselves.
Yeah, I know that's something that I'm definitely learning and seeing how important it is. Because man, that junk is not easy, man. Like, I mean, granted, I personally know that when it comes to big dialogue, I would prefer it to be broken up, because that way, when I say if I were to flip a page and then I see already that there's this huge behind panel of text, I'm about to skip that. That bubble's about to get skipped. So I'm moving on. So I agree with you wholeheartedly, Tony. That I agree that it needs to be broken up and spaced out well, so that.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying.
I thought that's the impression I got.
I'm saying it should be laid out in a way that you'll visually see it pretty. If you take out all the pictures, all the bubbles look
Mm.
nice and pretty, and they're in the golden circle, something like that. Like there's something artistic in those bubbles, and people will read them. It doesn't matter if they're long, short, or whatnot. If they're ugly bubbles, people will not read them and stuff like that. I'm saying you have to make it look pretty,
Mm.
not really
Um,
space them out, because you can space them out and they'll look like a freaking spreadsheet. But if you make it like all the bubbles like slightly curved and whatnot, and do the center of attention, like it's the same techniques that it takes to make a proper paneling or proper picture that your eyes will focus goes with word bubbles and placements.
Mm. Okay. Okay. All right.
yeah.
Yeah, I get more of your point now. Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead, Warren.
That's one thing I like about Western comics. It's just like I notice a lot of panels where it's just one panel and it's two people talking to each other, and then they have two like connecting word bubbles for each of them, and each of them's connecting with the tail, and like the word balloons like kind of dance around each other, and you can know where it's going and who's talking to who because the way they connected it so intricately, and
Mm.
it keeps me interested and like keeps my eye and like my attention engaged. So compared to manga, I'm definitely gonna give it to Western for dialogue. I like how they do it. Um,
Especially Brian K. Vaughan.
mhm.
Yo,
Especially
one thing that it kind of gets gets me a little bit is when people are so into manga and they make their Western comic books their speech bubble into long ovals when in Japanese they're long ovals because Japanese text go down. English text goes left to right, so you have to make it like a circle or the long way oval, not down. That's something that gets me all the time, man. When I see like English text going in the circle, there's basically too much space on the top and too much space on the bottom. It drives me insane.
good point.
Oh wow, I didn't even think about that.
I learned something today.
Man, that's crazy.
What an amazing man.
All right. Well, if there's anything else anybody has when it comes to paneling, that tips, anything that because, like I said before, I'm starting this journey. I'm learning a lot about it, especially when it comes to dialogue. Yeah, I heard your little, your little comment back there, Jay. But no, that's true, man. It's very difficult. Laying punchlines, just making dialogue interesting. But it's a cool challenge, challenge that I think all of us are stepping up to. So, if anybody has anything else that they want to contribute to that discussion?
The key overall is
Sure can't wait to see Project Untitled.
yes.
Yeah. You guys will know that soon, won't they, Tony?
Yeah. Thank you for
Mhm.
throwing me underneath the bus. I appreciate it.
No, we threw you on top of the bus.
Yeah, we kind of did. So,
Yeah.
and make sure you guys go read Base and Death Star,
I don't know what that is.
Especially basement.
And support,
and especially Death Star.
support Jay.
Yo, one thing about
Kickstarter.
Western comics that I learned that I love is that professional comic book writers, if they know they're gonna have a two-page spread, like a flash sheet, like a page where a lot of detail is gonna be beautiful, it's gonna take up the whole page. They will
Splash
make
page.
flash page. They will make the 2 pages before that page really ugly, really simple, really ugly art and whatnot. So when you get to that point where you see the beautiful, it makes those pages even more beautiful, they'll pop out even more, and that's something that I like first in comic books.
It really brings me to the key to paneling is just using suspense properly and just building up because it's like you're just you got to keep your audience interested the whole way to the big reward or else like they're not going to stay. I mean, you're just doing it for yourself at that point, especially if you want to go into comics expecting to make money.
Okay.
I wanted to say one thing that really helps, I think, with the action scenes as well, is and you can't do this for all your action scenes, But and this is one of those weird ones. But when I think of specific shots, I like to kind of act it out a bit, like stand up and see how I would like to do, like let's say you're choreographing a sword fight for a thing. Just pick up just find something long like a broom or something and kind of just do act it out and see how that feels and see what you would like if that helps you think. I think that really helps open your mind to different angles and shots.
No, it's funny. I do this. I actually do that in my room. Like certain action scenes, or poses or whatever. Yeah, I definitely get up and I kind of. There's been times I even use the camera. I use the camera on my computer, I guess the FaceTime or whatever, and use that for certain angles or whatever the case may be. But
How much do I pay for the behind the scenes? Because I would laugh my ass off.
Well, I have a Patreon for it, so there's different packages.
I would pay for that.
You would pay for that. All right, man. Well, the next podcast, everybody, I'll have a Patreon up that shows, me acting stupid in my room. All right? Okay, come support. It is patreon.com/chocolate thunder. All right? Come support. But anyway, I think, how long have we been going? At least close to an hour?
You're the one. It's your job.
I don't even see the time. Hey, man. Look here, Tony. Look here. All right. I don't know. I actually don't know what time we started.
We started pretty late, so I would advise a little under an hour. We're probably at 45 right now.
Oh, yeah, man. That's perfect for me.
Anyone else want to touch on the pacing?
I'm actually interested for Jay as a writer. How does he write comedy scenes? Because that's something I'm gonna have to deal with pretty soon.
Me personally, any comedy scene that you're gonna ever see me write, it's either gonna be one of two things. It's gonna be one that it's something that I personally three things. One that I personally have done, something that I would do, or something that I've seen somewhere that I thought was cool, and I've sat there and thought of any possible way I could flip it. Like in chapter 2 when KO wakes up and he's sitting there looking in the face of Zathor. He's like that. I thought that was more physical comedy, and that was something I learned when I watched behind the scenes of a movie, The Proposal, with Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock.
That was hilarious.
It is hilarious, and one of the things they said that they thought it was picture perfect for them bringing Sandra Bullock into the film was because her physical comedy was at top tier to go with Ryan Reynolds' vocal comedy. He was the vocalist. He's the sarcastic and witty one, while her physical comedy helped complement that. So those are some of the things and tools that I've taken into consideration when I'm writing. It's because, like I said, I wanted to do screenplay writing and things like that. So I was writing as if I watched KO and Zathor on set do that themselves. I'm like, Zathor would be the physical, KO is going to be physical, and he's going to be vocal. And then they switched roles to Zathor being more vocal by saying, "Silence, KO shouldn't say," and he shook the room, and KO did the physical. Oh, okay, because his hair was all frazzled and he looked all scared and disoriented. So it's a little bit more difficult for me because I got fancy with it, but to draw it down to it, I think of if it's going to be a physical comedy moment or it's going to be vocal, like Zathor and Townsend in chapter 4. I'm like, that's going to be more vocal. When Townsend, it was a running gag. Townsend says, "Hey, bring me back birthday gifts as a challenge next time." And then Zathor zaps him into the place and says, he's like, "So I guess since you brought me here, I'm getting my birthday gifts early." That was Townsend being vocal, and then you see Zathor being physical. "I'll kill you with the look." And then Townsend goes, "Never mind, sorry." Yeah. It's a little bit difficult for me, but that's how I would explain it, which is extremely difficult to say over again.
Yo, I have a question for you guys, and right after I give the question, I'll give you my answers because what is your favorite comic book or comic book you remember that you endure the fight scenes? Like your favorite fight scenes are in that comic book.
Oh, fight scenes.
And mine will have to be Air Gears. for the fact that it's beautiful drawn, but all the fight scenes, there's not really a lot of fight, is because they fight with their skates.
Man, it look like
And
fight scenes to me, Tony, because I've been reading that lately, man. That junk, there's some intense freaking skating, bro.
the thing I like
Crazy.
about it is that when they're skating and whatnot, you become in there. You see so much of the background
Mm-hmm.
is a cinematic, beautiful art piece. And
Yeah.
it's not about like who could punch the hardest and whatnot. It's about the scenery, how you interact with the sceneries and stuff like that is beautiful, and that's why I like it. It's completely different from every other fight scene that I've seen, and it absorbs you. But yes, Edgar's is mine.
Um,
Uh, oh, I know it. It is a samurai comic that I read. I ain't gonna lie, I binged it too. I mean, I destroyed it. That joke was so good to me. Crap, what is the name? I'm so I can't remember the name. Really? Hold on. My phone. Somebody can go while I'm trying to find this. You can.
all right.
He binged you so hard, Harley.
I would say One Punch Man. One Punch Man, Eye Shield 21. When they're at the football games.
Yo, I said one, son. I said one.
Sorry, I got multiple for inspiration. Early Naruto and
I said one, man.
and a manhwa called Black God. I'm done.
No. Now you have to explain every single one. And
Oh,
why
Oh,
there's
oh,
one.
that's easy. All right.
I never heard Black God.
Well, One Punch Man is just like the parts when they're just showing like in the newest chapters when they're showing how fast Genos can be. Character who's a cyborg and he just goes overdrive mode and he's just like showing how fast and powerful he is, and he's like he throws a punch, he misses, but the backlash just destroys the glass of entire skyscraper behind him. And it's just that build up and suspense I love. Early Naruto when they fought Zabuza and like Sasuke threw the shuriken and then behind him
Amazing.
the shuriken was a clone of Naruto and they colored it. Oh boy! Like you didn't see paneling like that in a manga. You just saw speed lines, throw a punch, fly out the window, more speed lines, you're done. Black God is a story about girl who a freaking girl from like this god clan of gods who boxes and wants to get revenge on her brother for killing her whole family and stuff like. Not the most original plot, but just the way she ducks and weaves and boxes and the fact that it's a girl and I eat that crap up for breakfast, it's just, I just love it. And they actually show you some boxing moves and stuff. Eye Shield 21, the way they zoom into the cleats when Senna is running. And like, there's a part where he uses his new move called the Devil Bat Ghost or something. It's basically where he shakes someone. And like when he run, it looks like he runs right through them, and you see his ghost like evaporate through them. And while he's running to the end zone, it's freaking genius. But that's me.
Two, I'm gonna break the mold here as well, Tony. Two, I really like Princess Mononoke. You know, I think Hayao Miyazaki really handled the action scenes in that movie pretty well.
Wait,
The
wait.
fight scenes.
I said mangas and books.
Oh, mangas and books.
Keep going, Josh. I like this where you're going.
Unless
No,
you
like
read
I
it.
just
Well, I don't, man. He broke the rules. I made rules for.
I told you to break the mold.
I broke him too. He's white.
Thanks, Warren. Warren's got my back. No, I think in Princess Mononoke they handled the action.
Actually, I did, jerk, but okay.
What's going on?
He handled the elements really well. He used a lot of the environment to immerse his characters, kind of how Tony said air gears, but the environment was used a lot in the fight scenes. It was a very big portion of it. It wasn't like how in Naruto they're just fighting in these rocky areas or these desert areas. It's like they were fighting at night, and so it would be different elements of like something would
There were
come
giant
into
statues of the old Hokage. Get it right, man.
You know, he's actually talking about the final fight of Sword of the Stranger.
Regardless, I mean, he uses a lot of the background elements that you wouldn't really think of using in the movie. and it turns out really well. And I also really like the Gundam fight scenes, specifically the ones that come to mind are Gundam 00.
Oh no, you got to talk about manga now. Sorry, Tony.
What is going
Yeah,
on?
those Gundam scenes are sick. They're awesome.
They have that very like it works like for Gundam. I think it works really well how they do the mech fight scenes. They're just really well done. They have the vibes that you would hope a mech scene to have. Just I mean, it's just like especially the ones in space. The ones in space feel fantastic for some reason.
Yeah, and so much power. But Jay, what about you, man?
What was the question?
Like fight scenes that you enjoy, I guess, or draw inspiration from, even for paneling.
Oh, man, that's Summer Wars. The fight when King Kazuma fought. That was one because I actually brought that DVD and I brought the Blu-ray into work and I watched it on a TV and I didn't know what was going on. And the movie had been playing the entire time, and I heard when Love Machine punched him, and I went around the corner and looked. And I seen the rest of that fight scene, man. 3 customers came in the store and had left before I said one word to anybody. I'm sitting there watching the fight, but earlier renditions that actually pulled me in, like Ninja Scroll, didn't have much of a battle scene, but a lot of battle scenes. That's a tough one, man. I don't have many memorable ones, but I know for the beginning of Captain America 2. That was a beautiful physical
I like
combat.
how they zoomed out and showed it, like him kind of like
just
running.
how he was running, like they showed how dope Captain America was. Like he didn't get his shine time in physical combat till you watched him take out the whole deck of a ship by himself.
Yeah, that one was pretty sweet.
That was one of my favorite ones as of recent, hands down. That I drew a lot of inspiration from. In some fight scenes, but really my imagination has been compiled with so many different fight scenes, from Avatar to Lord of the Rings to Last Airbender to Ninja Assassin to so many different action movies I watched, and even video games, Ninja Gaiden, Tenchu, freaking Soul Calibur, like all of those have just some people's fighting styles. Like a nice fighting style is like a mixture of Cammy and Yuri. So it's like I've taken like different things like that and mixed them in between, and so that's a really tough one for me to talk about again because there's so many different things I've compiled into.
If we're talking about video game fight scenes that are really good, Shadow of the Colossus.
I like the designs for Shadow of that game a lot.
Oh no, but
Asura's Wrath.
Woo! Reach on.
Have you seen that, Josh? Have you played that or played that anime? That's an anime.
I've seen it. It looks fantastic.
Hey, I must be the only one that Asura's Wrath is just blah to me. It's just merged into one giant like flashing light in my head.
So Cameron, what's yours? You never answered your own question, or Tony's question, or whoever's question.
It was Tony's question. For me, okay, so yeah, I found it. The manga is called Gameron, but it's like a samurai.
Gamer. Oh yeah.
Gameron. Yeah, it's a samurai comic. I really enjoy the fight scenes there, man. I like all the different moves, all the different sword styles. I really enjoyed it. I just like binged through it. It gave me a lot of inspiration for another project that I plan on working on.
What's the name of that?
We don't need to talk about that right now because you know what I'm saying. I want to get people excited for no reason because that ain't coming out for a while. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it's a project that's untitled.
Isn't it like Samurai something?
Nah, man, it's anyway. No, that of course Jay mentioned one, Sword of the Stranger. Honestly, that entire movie, but if I had, the fight scene at the end, and honestly, even though it wasn't much of a fight scene, that just whole scene of him in the town when they first met was, I don't know, I just really liked how it was, the scenes of it and how it was how it was paced.
You like that camera?
Yeah. What are you doing? So I feel like you're trying to. Oh, really? With the Saturday AM, really, bro? Oh, who said
Copyright.
Who said it AM? Let's go to their website. It's not on here. They lied to us. But yeah, those two are really big inspirations. I like those a lot. I'm sure there's more, but I'm not gonna.
I never seen this the samurai comic or manga you were talking about. Could you explain one of the scenes in it that impacted you so much?
Oh, like man, I really like the character development, even with the. Of course, they have a time skip in it. So the main character, he trains for a while.
No,
He
just tell me the
Oh,
fight.
it's good. Bro. I mean, like, it's gonna sound like repetitive. Me just saying it's a sword fight. Like, but
They took out the swords, they clang a little bit.
they claim, but again, it's one of those things where it's better shown than talked about.
No.
Yeah. Oh, but I forgot one. I just want to mention it's a Korean one called Veritas that I really like. Yeah, it just ends out of nowhere, but it's the art in it's awesome, and I think the fighting scenes are pretty cool too. So,
Okay.
those are my three.
I think right now is a good place to end the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone got any recommendations for reading or anything they've read in the past few months or month?
I'm currently reading Spider-Man: The X-Men. It's part of the new wave of Marvel comics that got canceled or smushed into Secret Wars, but I like it. It reminds me of the old 90s Spider-Man cartoon I used to watch.
I'm reading Seconds by Brian Lee
East or
O'Malley.
West?
It's a nice little slice of life kind of just chill read. It's very funny. I like it.
I was gonna ask you how you enjoying it.
I like it so far. I like how she has back and forth with the narrator. It's pretty interesting. As for recommendations, as earlier I mentioned Black God, great series. I like it.
I'm trying to look that up right now. I'm to see if I can try to find it. I've never heard of that one. Sounds cool.
Yeah, Black God or Kuro Kami. It has an anime. I don't recommend it though. And Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales or Ultimate Comics Spider-Man Volumes 1 through 5. Ooh, these Ultimates are throwing me off. And Space Patrolman Jocko, prequel to Dragon Ball. That's me.
Yo, I say for all you females, you guys should check out the manga Food Basket. I'll leave it at that.
Yo, Tony, when I was in high school, man, there was these girls, man, that were obsessed with that freaking joint, man. Was it really that good?
For girls, yeah.
I don't even know what it's about. Isn't it like they turn into animals? If I'm correct.
Let's just skip it. You'll never know what it's about.
I'll never know? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Jay, what
It'll always be a memory.
East of West, Image Comics. That's one that we've read as a recent. That was actually pretty good.
East of West sounds cool.
Yeah,
Like the name.
it's about the apparently it's about the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
Seriously?
In a post-apocalyptic, dystopian, futuristic western.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
What about you, Joss?
I
He
said
already did.
Spider-Man.
Oh.
Spider-Gwen as well. If you want to get Spider-Gwen. Spider-Gwen's pretty good.
Just almost
Did
there.
the Cameron answer the question?
Yes.
Did I?
No.
Yes.
Did
What
he?
did I say?
Thanks, Warren.
Cameron's like, what did I say?
No, I know I didn't answer it. I was just trying to play along.
Alright.
No, I've been reading. I've actually been reading Breaker a lot. I'm pretty sure everybody heard of that one though. Breaker, and I haven't gotten to New Waves yet, but I like Breaker. I think that's another one. The action's pretty cool in that one. And for the most part, that's it. Just Breaker. Oh yeah, and reading the Mega Man Archie comics. Those are pretty dope. I like the coloring in a lot.
That's a thing. Yes.
That is a thing.
That is a thing. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, Send us off, boy!
All right. Well, this is episode 0, and we are a podcast dedicated to artists. Niggas, assemble. All right, this is Cameron Knight. Again, you can find me on Instagram at C Knight Art or C Knight Comics. Again, my new comic base is out on Tapastic and Live Webtoons. Thank you for Warren for reminding me another place where it's at, so you can check it out.
All right.
Jay.
It'd be you, Joshua.
Ooh,
Go on, man.
I know you heard that.
No, it's you, Jay. It's you.
All right, well, then I'll go. Thank you again for joining in, guys, to another podcast episode for episode 0. It is me, Jay, One Hero Right. Infinite the Journey is still going through its first Kickstarter. We are about 76% away from goal with 7 days left. So get in there, read it, see if you like it, and if it tickles your fancy and it's a type of story you like, please. $1 to $5, whatever you can donate, or if you can't even donate, comment, share, like, subscribe, print it off, post it on your best friend's back. Do whatever you got to do. Just help spread the word if it's something that you like, and indie creators can help everybody else, and we can get Wonder for others to fall through. And thank you. Read that star.
My name is Joshua. You can find me on Instagram, instagram.com/JOSHWUAH, and currently working on my first one-shot. And yeah.
Oh, he's also a male stripper, everybody. Goes by the name of White Chocolate.
White Chocolate.
He
Cameron and I are
works.
starting a strip club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do.
It's Chocolate Thunder and White Chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't work on the same nights, bro. You know that. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tony.
Yo, my name's Antonio Delacruz. You can find me on Facebook, but if you wanna, see some of my art, just Google Everfull Error in the Google, and it'll pop up. And sooner or later, I'll pop up with my comic book story that I'm pretty sure you guys will enjoy if you guys like lighthearted adventure stories.
All right, guys, this is Warren, #1 disciple of Yusuke Murata with the Bottom Barrel comic Dead Star. You can find it on Tapastic and Line Webtoons. And for the sake of our absent Michael, please check out Duelist. It is... Wait, where is Duelist? Is it on Tapastic?
I mean, I think actually no, it hasn't been out anywhere since Ink-related.
Well, there goes my act of kindness.
Yeah, I think I believe Duelist is actually. I think he said he's aiming for this week to finish it up. So probably sometime next week you guys can check it out, and I'm sure it'll probably be on Tapastic.
And
Well,
fellow
there's
audience
always an
members-
Ink Blazers if you guys want to check it out.
fellow audience members, if you suffer this long into the podcast, please leave a comment if you'd like us to talk about something in particular you're looking for. Any love advice or comic advice, we do that too.
Mm-hmm. We are the Love Doctors.
Yeah.
And welcome to Night.
Yo, and good luck, guys, and create something awesome, man, because that's why we're all the reason why we all been put on this planet.
Straight up,
You
man.
can look up Mike Tony's Design on Instagram. That's where you can find most of his art. Mike Tony Design.
Woo! All right,
And
man.
live.
Love life. You know what I'm
And
saying?
live from a New York studio live audience, we are now signing off.